The studio lights were blinding, but the tension in the air was even brighter. Millions of viewers tuned in live that night for what was supposed to be a civil conversation between Hollywood legend Robert De Niro and the rising political voice, Senator John Kennedy. But what unfolded wasn't just another interview. It became a moment etched in television history, where arrogance met humility and humility won. It started innocently enough. De Niro, known for his unfiltered opinions and fierce presence, leaned forward in his chair, eyes narrowing at Kennedy. His voice, gravelly and commanding, cut through the studio silence. "You're dumb, Kennedy. Just plain dumb. I don't know how someone like you even makes it into politics." Gasps rippled through the live audience. The host tried to smile through the awkwardness, but the damage was done. A respected actor had just humiliated a sitting senator on live TV. For a moment, Kennedy froze. Cameras zoomed in, catching the flicker of hurt in his eyes. He wasn't the smooth, polished politician right then. He was a man being ridiculed, belittled in front of millions. Most people would have lashed out, thrown back insults, or walked off stage. That's what De Niro seemed to expect. His smirk grew, almost daring Kennedy to stumble. But Kennedy did something no one predicted. He sat back, inhaled deeply, and looked De Niro straight in the eye. His voice was calm, steady, and carried more weight than the insult hurled at him. "Maybe I'm not the smartest man in this room, Robert. Maybe I'll never win an Oscar or stand on a red carpet. But I'll tell you this, I've sat with families who couldn't afford their next meal. I've listened to veterans who lost everything after serving their country, and I've fought for kids who grew up thinking the world forgot about them. If that makes me dumb in your eyes, then I'll proudly stay dumb, because I'd rather be dumb with them than brilliant and heartless." The studio went silent. The smirk on De Niro's face faded, replaced by something unspoken, maybe guilt, maybe respect. Kennedy didn't raise his voice. He didn't have to. His words carried a power far louder than an insult ever could. But Kennedy wasn't done. He leaned forward, the weight of sincerity pouring from him. "You've played heroes on screen, Robert, and people admire you for that. But the real heroes aren't in Hollywood. They're the single mothers working 2 jobs, the firefighters rushing into burning buildings, the teachers buying supplies with their own paychecks. If you think standing with them makes me dumb, then that's a title I'll wear proudly for the rest of my life." The audience erupted into applause. Some even stood, clapping with tears in their eyes. The host, stunned into silence, finally muttered, "Well, a broken bar. I wasn't expecting that." Even De Niro leaned back, eyes glistening, as if Kennedy's words had pierced deeper than he wanted to admit. What Kennedy showed that night wasn't cleverness or quick wit-up, it was heart. And in a world where insults spread faster than kindness, his comeback was more than just a rebuttal. It was a reminder that dignity can be more powerful than ego, and empathy can silence even the harshest critics. The clip went viral within hours. Headlines screamed about the knockout comeback that humbled a Hollywood giant. But for Kennedy, it wasn't about the fame. In interviews afterward, he simply said, "I wasn't trying to win. I was just speaking for the people who never get a microphone." And maybe that's why the moment resonated so deeply. It wasn't just about the senator standing up to a celebrity. It was about an underdog standing up for what really matters, to ordinary people whose voices often get drowned out. By the end of that week, Kennedy's approval rating soared. More importantly, countless viewers shared how his words gave them hope that maybe politics wasn't all about insults and power games, but about remembering humanity. Even Robert De Niro, days later, admitted in a short statement, "I may not agree with everything Kennedy says, but I respect the way he handled himself. He showed class. I can learn from that." In the end, the real knockout wasn't Kennedy's cleverness or De Niro's insult. It was the lesson that humility, courage, and compassion will always outshine arrogance. And that night, on live TV, the world was reminded of a truth that can never be silenced. You don't have to be the loudest voice in the room to make the biggest impact. You just have to speak with heart.